Welcome to this premium note. Think of this as your masterclass for understanding, building, and ultimately monetizing the future of Web3 automation. Let's just dive right in. Look, if you want to thrive in the next decade of the digital economy, understanding smart contracts, it's no longer just optional. It is absolutely your ultimate leverage. Today, we're going to break down exactly what they are, why they matter so much, and most importantly, how you can use them to build your own wealth and create some seriously high-value career opportunities.
To really grasp the sheer size of this opportunity, you just need to look at the numbers. By the end of 2024, the total value locked, what we call TVL, in decentralized finance hit a staggering $120 billion. That is a massive, real-world shift of capital straight into this ecosystem. So right off the bat, you have to realize this isn't just some niche internet experiment anymore. This is literally the future of global finance happening right in front of us. And to capture your piece of that wealth, you need to understand the fundamental engines driving the whole thing.
You see, the real problem we are solving here comes down to one word: friction. Think about traditional agreements. They require expensive lawyers, they rely heavily on human trust, and they need manual enforcement. Bottom line, they are painfully slow. But the alternative? Smart contracts. We're talking about pure if-then code, trustless environments, and totally automatic execution. To capture the kind of wealth we were just talking about, you have to understand how to replace those slow, trusted middlemen with sleek, self-executing code.
Now, believe it or not, this entire concept actually kicked off decades ago. Way back in 1994, computer scientist Nick Szabo envisioned this by comparing it to something we use all the time: a simple vending machine. Think about it for a second. You put your money in, and the machine automatically dispenses your snack without needing a human cashier standing there to approve the transaction. The machine verifies the input and deterministically executes the output. It sounds simple, right? But when you apply that exact same logic to complex financial agreements on a global, decentralized network, it scales infinitely.
Szabo's core definition really set the gold standard here. He called a smart contract a computerized transaction protocol that executes the terms of a contract. Because of this trustless, deterministic execution, neither party actually needs to rely on the other's goodwill. The code is the law. And let me tell you, as a startup founder or a freelancer, this is the ultimate foundation. You can build highly scalable digital businesses with practically zero administrative overhead.
Okay, so let's look at how this infrastructure actually works in the real world. Take Compound, for example. It's this massive protocol for loanable funds that peaked at over $11.6 billion in locked value. It operates a lot like traditional margin lending, where you put up collateral to borrow assets. But here's the game changer. It completely automates the interest rates and the liquidations. No credit checks, no loan officers in suits. It just uses smart contracts to efficiently and perfectly match lenders and borrowers 24/7.
And what about trading? Imagine doing that without a centralized middleman. Well, that's exactly what Uniswap does. They completely replace traditional, centralized exchange order books with what are known as automated market makers. So instead of matching buyers and sellers manually, literally anyone can trade assets instantly, relying entirely on a math formula hard-coded into a smart contract. It gives us this permissionless peer-to-peer trading with continuous code-backed liquidity. It's essentially a completely automated financial marketplace.
Now, all of these platforms we're discussing, they're part of what we call the DeFi primitives. This covers lending, decentralized exchanges, stablecoins for price stability, yield farming, and even parametric insurance. I want you to think of these primitives as the ultimate Lego building blocks for the digital economy. As a founder or developer, you can construct incredibly complex, automated financial services just by snapping these open-source blocks together. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. As powerful as smart contracts are, they've got this one massive blind spot. Blockchains are completely isolated networks. By design, smart contracts cannot natively access real-world data. They don't know the weather, they don't know sports scores, and they definitely don't know real-world property valuations. They only know what happens on the blockchain itself. We call this isolation the Oracle problem. And if you want to build apps that actually interact with the real world, you absolutely have to understand how to solve it.
Enter oracles. Oracles solve this blind spot by acting as highly trained, ultra-secure messengers that bridge the gap. It's a really clean workflow. Step 1. Your smart contract requests some external data. Step 2, the oracle goes out, retrieves, and verifies that data from trusted off-chain sources, like an API. And finally, step 3, the oracle delivers that data securely on-chain so the smart contract can execute. They literally fetch the off-chain data and feed it to your on-chain app, which is what makes programmable money truly useful.
And once you leverage oracles, businesses start unlocking entirely new use cases well beyond just digital finance. We're talking supply chain transparency, which giants like Walmart actually use to track food safety. We're seeing real estate tokenization for automated property valuations and rent collection, incredibly secure healthcare records management, and even flight delay parametric insurance. Think about an insurance policy that pays you out automatically the very second your plane is marked late. The automation opportunities here are just staggering.
Now, let's have a serious mentor moment. If you're going to be a builder in this space, security has to be your absolute top priority. Because smart contracts are immutable, meaning you can't just easily patch them once they're deployed. A single vulnerability is catastrophic. The infamous DAO hack back in 2016 proved that a re-entrancy vulnerability, which is basically a bug that tricks a contract into paying out multiple times before it updates its balance, can literally drain millions of dollars in an instant. You are building with programmable money, so the stakes couldn't be higher.
Along with security, you've also got to master gas optimization. Gas is just the fee that users pay to execute your code, and the computational costs for different actions vary wildly. For instance, storing a brand new variable, that costs a heavy 20,000 gas, but simply reading an existing one is much cheaper, sitting around 2,100 gas. Understanding these exact costs lets you design systems that are lean and efficient, because if your code is bloated, transaction fees are going to skyrocket and you will literally price your users right out of the market.
The difference between heavy, unoptimized code and sleek, optimized code, it's night and day. Unoptimized code drags these heavy arrays and clunky storage operations around. Optimized code, on the other hand, acts like a hoverboard. It uses highly efficient structures like mappings for instant data lookups, no matter the data size. It utilizes call data for read-only variables, and it always enables the compiler optimizer. Just making these few smart tweaks can cut your users' transaction costs by 20 to 50%. For a startup, that is a massive competitive advantage. And I want you to really let this sobering statistics sink in. According to Olympics, 90% of exploited contracts actually passed a professional security audit. Let me say that again. Passing an audit does not guarantee your code is bulletproof. It means that continuous security monitoring, engaging in bug bounties, and running rigorous ongoing tests are just as critical as that very first code review. Security in Web3 is a continuous, living process that requires constant vigilance. It's definitely not a one-and-done checklist.
So, let's get down to business. How do you actually turn all of this knowledge into real digital income? Mastering these workflows opens up some incredible monetization paths. Whether you want to launch a killer SaaS product, secure passive income as a yield farming strategist, build the future as a Web3 automation engineer, or consult as a highly paid freelance smart contract auditor. The industry is screaming for these skills, and the career opportunities for the people who truly understand this architecture are literally endless.
Look, this ecosystem is already worth billions. The infrastructure is completely ready, sitting right there at your fingertips. And the global demand for builders has absolutely never been higher. You've got the blueprints now. The only variable left in this equation is you. So what are you going to build today to claim your stake in the digital economy? Thank you so much for joining me in this premium note. Now go take these concepts, start building, and go create your own opportunities.